Welcome to Mewsthebest, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we will be going over my fourth and final pool game for Santa Smackdown 2018. For our final pool game, we will be going up against Andrew, aka Mewsthebest. He's actually going to be a participant in UPAD League next season, so it's nice to see him joining the crowd, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see how he performs there. But yeah, anyways, with regards to this game. If we win, we guarantee move on to bracket play. If we lose, it comes down to differential, and like basically the winner between Andrew's game and Chez's game, which would happen after this. But yeah, so I guess that's enough of that. Let's just go over Andrew's team that he drafted. So it's a lot different than all the other teams that we've seen. So we drafted Mew, Thunderous Eye, Scolipede, Florges, Breloom, Megaane, Sandslash, and Lantern, with the Z-move user being Thunderous Eye. So Andrew has a lot of threats on his team. Obviously, Mew can be whatever the hell he wants to be. Thunderous is a huge threat in particular to my team because, basically because it's an electric type that outspeeds my Raichu. Scolipede, Skarmory. Sorry to say all that. But yeah, and then he just has a bunch of other stuff that I think works solidly with this team. So yeah, let's just take a look at what I decided to build. So first off, we have Fire Z Blacephalon to be able to nuke specially defensive Aggron. It doesn't matter if he's max specially defensive, Z Flamethrower always kills it unboosted, so it's perfectly fine. I don't know, Scarf didn't make sense because he has Scolipede and all he needs to do is protect once, and then Speed Boost makes him outspeed my Blacephalon, so Scarf definitely wasn't the play. I had Flame Charge here just in case, I could get multiples off, and then that way, he would basically have to be forced to go for the double protect the Scolipede. Very rare that that would happen, but I mean, when Blacephalon's coverage is absolute garbage, garbage, but its stab attacks is all it needs. So Flame Charge is fine here in this situation, and we do have Taunt because, in my opinion, his Florges is a pretty good switch into this. But we do have Taunt here to make sure that he can't Calm Mind in front of us and he can't heal up on us. So that way, whatever damage we get on him is pretty much permanent, barring any leftovers recovery. Yeah, and then we're the same spread as we were last time, honestly, because I was too lazy to make a new one. It still outspeeds his Mew, which is the thing we need to creep anyways. And then the attack investment we're missing here doesn't miss out on any 2-hit KOs, so it's perfectly fine. Excuse me. Next up, we do have Skarmory here. A little weird. Obviously, it's not weird to see Skarmory in this matchup because it's a very clear switch into his Scolipede. Unfortunately, no Brave Bird. I just felt that with the 4 moves that I have here, it would arguably be just as good. It would be just so that way his Scolipede can't set up in our faces to the point where we take too much damage from his attacks. So Whirlwind is fine, and then it stops all this other setup potential SD Breloom or Curse Megaane if he wants to go that way, or even as long as we have Sturdy up, we can even stop a Nasty Flot Thunderous, or even Nasty Flot Mew or something like that. And then besides that, we do have. We're basically trying to stack him because look at his team and look at Hazard Stack. It's just Hazard Stack is just good. Especially when there's a fat thing like Megaane, which in this case doesn't have, or I guess it does have wish support from Florges, but in the case the fat stuff that's hard to kill like Megaane, you always want a Hazard Stack against. So it made sense to me to want Hazard Stack, and then the other things Roost was obvious to be able to heal up, and then Whirlwind I felt was better than Brave Bird in this matchup because Andrew has a lot of setup on his team that I think it would just be best to just Whirlwind them out instead of trying to Brave Bird the Scolipede. But yeah. And then past that, we do have Drapion, which is meant to be my dedicated Mew response. In the case where, on my team, Psychic ground coverage does seem relatively free, I needed to make Drapion hold an air balloon to be able to switch into Mew if those are his coverage moves. It basically it forces in prep. It would force his Mew to run a third coverage move, should he decide to need it. And even then, it basically ensures that I can either knock it off or get a Toxic off, considering that my Toxics won't miss because I'm Poison type, and he can't Toxic me back because, with Synchronize, because I'm Poison type. But yeah, I honestly could not tell you what this investment is for. I want to say this speed is probably for Breloom, as that makes the most sense to me just looking at his team, but I honestly don't remember what the attack and defense investments were for. I built this team quite a while ago. So like, I honestly couldn't tell you what it was for. And then the moves I think was just the best, like knockoff. General goodness. Poison Jab for the Breloom. Ice Fang, I believe, is specifically for the Thunderous. Is I think with the attack investment we can 2-hit KO. I think, or no, wait, I'm an idiot. It wasn't for the Thunderous. It was more so for the Sand Slash that's right there. Because like with knockoff Poison Jab, it was kind of looking difficult for us to injure it a lot, other than possibly Toxic. But yeah, I wasn't sure if Sand Slash was coming, but it couldn't hurt. Like, I mean, it's 8-mon, it can't hurt to like throw in a bit of incentive for that, especially when Ice Fang isn't like totally dead, barring the Sand Slash. Like, it still does a decent chunk to Thunderous, and it still does a decent chunk to Breloom. But yeah, I'm rambling. Either way, next up we do have Choice Band Diggersby, because much like in our game against Oro, Choice Band Diggersby goes ham against Andrew. Specifically, we do need a failsafe for his Scolipede in case that does get too out of hand and our Skarmory goes down. Quick Attack does guarantee minimum 53, I think, with this spread. And yeah, and then the rest of the attacks just, I mean, it's pretty general. Return, Earthquake, U-turn. It's a pretty standard Choice Band Diggersby set. Next up, we do have a Gardevoir set. Now, Focus Blast does seem like it would make sense to be able to hit the Aggron, as most likely that's his switch into this. And I mean, obviously I don't blame him, because like, look at the rest of his team. Like, Hyper Voice still 2-hit KO Scolipede even though it resists. So yeah, like I think definitely I think his Mega Aggron is the switch into this. But I really hate running Focus Blast and I don't want to miss. So I basically had to figure out a different way to neuter it. And I came up with Sub Will-O-Wisp, as Sub was basically the tech I would use to always switch into Mega Aggron. Or like, it was basically the move I would click on his anticipated switch into Mega Aggron, and then that would let me fire off a Will-O-Wisp. Yes, Will-O-Wisp can miss, but in my opinion, like with a move like Focus Blast, especially when well, like, I mean, he just has like Scolipede 4 times resist, Thunderous even resists, Mew resists it. Like, with a move so unreliable and with really no other merits other than to hit Mega Aggron, Will-O-Wisp just seemed like a much better utility move that I decided I think it would just be better if I would just burn the Mega Aggron, and then if he switches something in onto this like really aggressively and I can burn it, I think it's just going to be a lot better. And yeah, I mean, other than that, it's a pretty straightforward Mega Gardevoir set. And then finally, we do have my Raichu, which, because, like I said, Thunderous is a really big threat to my team, and the rest of my team was looking quite weak to it, like, right now, so I had to bring Raichu, sort of, like, pseudo-especially defensive. We have enough speed for his Mew. Did I even run speed? No, okay, I guess that makes sense, because Mew is probably creeping this. But yeah, we have enough speed for Mew here, with max HP, and then the rest just thrown into special defense. Once again, we do have a Toxic set here, but on the off chance that Andrew decides to go like with a substitute variant of Thunderous, we do have Hidden Power Ice to be able to guarantee break a sub, and then we just have Volt Switch for like the general, like, you know, momentum shenanigans, because that's just how I like to play. And then Toxic is still good for things like for the Lantern and the Sand Slash that could potentially try to switch in on this. And then we do have Encore, and Encore is kind of, it serves the same purpose as Taunt does on the Blacephalon, like mostly for the Florges, but if I ever see the situation, like if I switch in my Raichu into his Mew, like if there just comes a point where that has to happen, and he goes for Calm Mind, then I can always Encore him into Calm Mind, and then basically I can Toxic it and then get it on a guaranteed timer. So Encore, I think, was just the best utility move in this match, and yeah, that's enough about the Raichu set. So yeah, that is going to be the team for against Andrew, and yeah, we're looking for a win to be able to advance into out of pool play into bracket play, and yeah, let's just hop right into the battle. And we're back, and Andrew has decided to bring the Scolipede, the Thunderous, the Lantern, the Mega Aggron, the Breloom, and the Mew. So not too many surprises here. There's no Sand Slash. I'm a little surprised that he didn't bring the Florges, because other than that, his team does look a little bit Blacephalon weak, but that's perfectly fine with me. But either way, looking at the lead matchup, I believe I do just lead with my Raichu as kind of like the general, like fast electric Volt Switch lead. I wasn't really sure what Andrew wanted to lead with, but as you see here, he just leads straight up with a Scolipede, so I am perfectly fine with just switching into with switching into my Skarmory here, which is my guaranteed response to this, and he goes straight for the swords damage, which is really weird because I mean, just take a look at this Mega Horn damage. That's just pitiful damage. That's easy stealth rocks for me. And right here, I have like no problem with just clicking Whirlwind here because like it looks like even though like Baton Pass actually isn't like it isn't legal to pass like speed plus stats in this, but yeah, I mean if he just kept wanting to click SD, like Whirlwinding here was perfectly fine because then he can still take a bunch of damage off on entry to the hazards. But yeah, we Whirlwind him out into the Aggron, and as we see here, he's actually Cursed Mega Aggron. So luckily, we're just gonna click Whirlwind here and just try to phase him out, and kind of similar, just get more hazard chip damage on him if he decides to send it back in. And we do Whirlwind him out into the Mew, and we don't see leftovers, but I do get a little bit. Not aggressive, but like I just get kind of caught off guard. I didn't expect him to be any offensive kind of variant, but because if he wasn't offensive, then that Thunderbolt didn't kill. But he did have to have some sort of offensive investment in order for that Thunderbolt to kill. So that's really unfortunate because now that Scolipede actually looks quite a bit scary. But yeah, at this range, if he has some offensive investment, if he's only max HP, Shadow Ball should be able to get the kill here. But as we see here, he is actually Colbur Berry on his Mew, which is really unfortunate because he's actually going to go for the Dark Pulse and not kill us. But he does get a big chunk of damage off on us. But with that special defense drop, he is actually guaranteed in range of Flamethrower in here. So I'm actually going to go for that because in the case, for whatever reason, he does want to save this Mew, and it's kind of looking like his best switch into this is his, in my opinion, is his Mega Aggron, like, into a Ghost attack. It was basically, like, basically barring the Lantern switch in, Flamethrower did more to the rest of his team, in case he wanted to basically get fancy and switch this Mew out. So I do click the Flamethrower here. He does elect to sack off the Mew. It's fine that he knows that I'm not Choice Scarf. I mean, in my opinion, it was pretty obvious that I wouldn't be. Again, I stated my reasons. But yeah, he goes into the Lantern here. I don't really know what kind of Lantern this wants to be, so I do switch into my into my Raichu, and this damage definitely confirms that he's not Choice Specs, but he is max special attack modest. So I do fire off the Toxic just to get some residual chip damage on it, and he goes for the Hydro Pump again, and he misses. I'm not sure if that was a guarantee to kill or if it was a roll to kill, but I mean it's kind of the risk you always run when you run Hydro Pump. But yeah, so seeing that he does have the Hydro Pump, I am going to switch out because I do want my Raichu to stay around, because otherwise that Thundurus does look like a pretty big threat. I switch in Gardevoir because he doesn't take too much, and he goes for the Ice Beam just to be safe. Now here, I'm anticipating the Gardevoir, or the Aggron switch in, and he actually stays in, so I'm very confused with what he goes for. But he actually clicks Toxic, and this is fantastic. So now I'm just straight up behind a sub, and this Lantern is guaranteed in range of... oh, excuse me. It's guaranteed in range of Hyper Voice, so that just dies. And once again, like, he sends out his Thundurus, but in my opinion, it doesn't really matter because I can get a ton of damage off with my Hyper Voice, so I do just go for that, get a nice big chunk off on this Thundurus. And I just go for it again because he's Prankster, but he just has no speed investment. What he said happened there was like he said he was rushed to make a team, and yeah, he wanted Defog Thunderwave. Those were the first two moves he put in, and then he just clicked like the suggested set, and I guess the suggested set did not have any speed investment, or at least not enough to outspeed Mega Gardevoir. I believe I'm max speed Mega Gardevoir anyways, yeah, because I'm speed tiding with Mew. So he just straight up just didn't have enough investment to outspeed 100. So either way, I'll take it. So now he finally switches in the Mega Aggron, and now I finally get to click Will-O-Wisp, which is the entire reason I set up the sub. He goes for Earthquake instead of Heavy Slam, so me trying to get a little bit fancy. I'm not really too sure why I did this play, but I thought I was gonna click Earthquake again, and I was gonna try and get a free switch into my Drapion. But ultimately, I looked at my moveset and didn't really realized, hey, I get walled by by his Mega Aggron, so there's not really a reason for me to stay in here. But luckily, since he is burned and his attack is half, he's not doing too much damage to my Diggersby, and even at +2 defense, because I am Choice Banded, I am able to, and coupled with the burn chip damage, I am going to be able to knock out this Aggron. So luckily, we didn't get too much into a bind because of my stupid play with my Drapion. But either way, he sends in his Breloom. I'm just sacking Raichu here. It doesn't really need to be... I don't really need Raichu anymore. And because of the way I can see this team being built. Like, Blacephalon always revenges this, barring he's Scarf, but since we've seen Substitute, he is definitely not Scarf. He goes for Rock Tomb, which does a ton of damage. I click Volt Switch here, kind of just like not thinking, which is kind of not really a mistake, but like I just kind of assumed that like I would either be slower than this after the Rock Tomb, or B, oh my goodness, I can't think, or he would just click Mach Punch. But either way, I switch into my Drapion, which is fine. He does break my Balloon with Drain Punch, but I am able to knock it out with a Poison Jab after. And finally, he only has a Scolipede left, so I'm just knocking off whatever item he has. I know he's like the Scolipede isn't Z, so it doesn't matter. Like I'll get the maximum amount of damage off. We knock off his Focus Sash, which is really good. He goes for Mega Horn, which does kill, but it doesn't. But he does get the kill, but it's fine because Diggersby comes in and guarantees knocks this out with a quick attack. So we have won this game 4-0, and we have locked up our ticket into bracket play of Santa Smackdown. GG to Mewsthebest. I really wish him the best moving forward. He didn't have the best tour run, but I do look forward to see what he can do in UFAD League. So yeah. We have moved on to bracket play. In our pool, it was top 2 in each pool got to move on. So in our pool, it was myself and youngster Bill who ended up moving on. And yeah, so I'm really happy about this. Unfortunately, though, for my first game in bracket play, we are going up against ABP, A Blue Potato, and yeah, he's one of the better players in the community for sure. And I'm definitely the underdog here, but that is definitely not going to discourage me. I'm definitely going to try to go ham in my preps. So yeah, keep your guys' eyes out on the channel tomorrow for when that match versus ABP goes live. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.